Walsall remain your leaders over in League Two, that's right, but it's getting very, very tight at the top of the table in English's fourth tier. Who will take full advantage this weekend? We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It is match number 14, that's right, over in League Two. And we'll get to it in a second. If you do, where you in, smash your subscribe. You want some shot for Blackburn Rovers, League Two football. Whoa, football. We're going to all hear under one Rooski. That's right, big week ahead. Of course, with that, I think there's like 4 points separate 7th from top spot right now. Of course, that means anyone has got hope to get into those playoffs at this coming match day. We'll get into all of that and more in a second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. And if you are new, hit that subscribe. And can I drop a cheeky 40 people like? Can you get 40 likes here on this video on the channel? It does need your help. We are in a bit of a wounded state right now, the channel, so we need your loving. So please do us a favour and hit that like button. But anyway, we're going to jump in the deep end and look at this, guys. It is, of course, a recap of the results last time around, and these were those as you see it. Of course, Cambridge did beat Bromley, got that one pretty close to the money. Salford did beat Oldham, got that one spot on as well. Stanley with an impressive 4-0 win. I am right in seeing that. Moving on forward, Tranmere Rovers with a big impressive 4-1 away win against Bristol Rovers. Colchester putting 3 past Harrogate Town, got that one close to the mark. Notts County with a win away to Barnet. Chesterfield and Fleetwood could only draw. Grimsby did beat Gillingham. The MK Dons looking good right now. 3-1 winners over Crewe. Cheltenham with a 2-0 win over Newport County, got that one close to the mark, as did Shrewsbury beat Crawley 1-0. Massive win for the Shrews. And then Barrow beating Walsall to top them, the top of the table toppers this past weekend. So that is that. Meanwhile, moving forward, the table looks like this as you see it. Walsall are doing the business still. 1 point clear of Swindon, who are in second. MK Dons now into third. Then the playoffs look like Grimsby, Gillingham, Chesterfield and Salford, and going down as of right now, Newport County and Crawley. But still, anyone's guess, top and bottom, but we're going to keep on going forward regardless. So this is the link to our prediction league, which I'm not giving an update just yet. We will get to it very, very soon. In fact, let's get into the next round of games, and these are those, of course, coming at you this weekend. Another packed out fixture list, all kicking off tomorrow. That's right, Cheltenham against Walsall. So let's get into the deep end and have a look at that match then, shall we? Come at you over at Cheltenham. Steve Cotterill's boys are 22nd right now with just 11 points for them. Just one defeat in the last 4 up against the Walsall side, who are top of the table, but they're winless in the last 3 matches. They played Cheltenham though 14 times since 2004, 6 wins for Cheltenham. We have 5 wins for Walsall. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. When they've last played though, this venue was a 2-2 thriller back in February 2025. Looking at the last 5, only one time. So as the away side once in those last 6 matches. That's when Cheltenham beat Walsall at the Bescott back in February 2021. Cheltenham are on the back of that 2-0 win over Newport County. Unbeaten now in the last 2 games in the league. In fact, the last 3 games in the league. Looking pretty good at the moment. As for Walsall, 3 matches without a win. Their last win was a 2-1 home win against Bristol Rovers. The bookies, though, will back the visitors. That is the Walsall. Got to back them as well, I think. I've gone with the draw. That's right. New manager bounce still in effect at Cheltenham right now. Fleetwood Town, they're taking on Accrington. Stanley coming at you over at Highbury. Fleetwood under Pete Wild. They sit 12th right now. 90 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Stanley, the John Doolan, just 1 win in the last 5 matches themselves. They're coming at you with 20 for the table, 12 points for the campaign, and they played Fleetwood 19 times to 2012. We have 8 wins Stanley, 8 wins Fleetwood, and 3 draws between the two sides. Coming into this, they last played competitively in the league, I would say, at this venue. It was a 1-1 scoreline back in December 2024. That was in League Two. Fleetwood are on the back of a draw themselves, drawing with Chesterfield most recently. As for Stanley, that 4-0 win over Swindon, still in an impressive scoreline, none the same. Coming into this, though, the bookies, they'll go with Fleetwood Town here. There, of course, where are they? Whoa. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Fleetwood, who are currently flying high in 12th position. Let's get to the next one then. Of course, it is Barrow over in the northwest, taking on Barnet. That's right, long way for them to go with Andrew Ring at the helm. For Barrow, they sit 15th right now, just 17 points of the campaign, just 1 defeat in the last 6 up against Barnet under Dean Brennan. That's right. Also 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 10th with 20 points on their resume. Coming into this, they have played 4 times to 2018, 1 win for Barrow, 3 wins for Barnet. There's been no draws between these two. Last time they played over at Barrow, it was a 2-1 win for Barrow way back in November 2018. 2019. That was in the National League. And Barrow coming in is on the back of a 2-1 win over Walsall. Barnet beating Cambridge 3-2 this past midweek in the Football League Trophy. Southern. Bookies odds, they'll go with Barnet here, which is quite surprising considering how far they're going to go for this one. They actually heavily backed here, Barnet. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Barrow. I think at home there could be a tricky little side, so it's going to be a tight one. Only small margins between these two, but just the 1-0 win for me this weekend. Bromley, they're up in action, taking on high flying MK Dons. That's right. They played only twice since 2024, and MK Dons have yet to get a win. But Bromley have won once, and there's been a draw between these two sides. The hosts, under Andy Woodman, just one win though in the last 6. They sit 13th right now with 18 points up against MK Dons. Paul Ward in charge there. 4 wins the last 5. Third in the table, 24 points for them. Now, the last played over at Bromley. It was a 1-1 scoreline back in September 2024. Bromley are on the back of a loss to Cambridge. Most recently, MK Dons picking up a win against Crewe to make it back-to-back wins for them. 7 goals scored in the last 2 combined. And they're favoured not. No, Bromley are favoured for the victory here, according to the bookies. I think that's madness. Absolute madness. MK Dons are cooking right now. 2-1 winners for me. MK Dons to the house. Crawley Town, they are struggling against Bristol Rovers, though, who have also hit a bit of a bumpy patch. That's right. Scott Lindsay's Crawley, 23rd, 9 points on the campaign, up against Bristol Rovers. Darryl Clark in the helm there. Of course, just one win the last 4 for the visitors, who sit 16th right now with just 17 points, but they played Crawley 15 times since 2011. 5 wins Crawley, 6 wins Bristol Rovers, 4 draws. They last played at this venue. It was a 1-0 win for Crawley back in March 2025. That was in League One. My, how they have fallen. Crawley losing to Shrewsbury last time around. Their last victory was a long, long time ago. It was actually in the Football League Trophy Southern against Aston Villa's youth. But the last time back victory for them in the league, 13th of September against Cheltenham. As for Bristol Rovers, losing to Tranmere most recently. In fact, they've shipped 8 goals of Bristol Rovers in the last 2. Bookies will go with... They're going with Crawley here. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Bristol Rovers. They've got form in that locker. They've got some results in the locker there, so I do think they'll hopefully return to winning ways for Bristol Rovers on the road. Meanwhile, Crewe taking on Grimsby over at Gresty Road. It is the David Artell derby. Crewe coming into this, and Lee Bell at the helm. 11th in the table, 50% form for them, winning 3, losing 3. Over the last 6, Grimsby under David Artell, sitting 4th right now, also winning 3 and losing 3 in the last 6. Now, they have played 25 times, these two clubs, since 1998. 13 wins for Crewe, 8 wins for Grimsby, 4 draws between the two sides. They last played at this venue as a 2-0 win for Crewe, who did the double over Grimsby last season, back-to-back 2-0 wins. Crewe are on the back of that 3-1 loss to MK Dons. Grimsby picking up that important win at home to Gillingham. The bookies find it very tight, just about shade it to Crewe, but it is right down the middle. I've gone with a 0-0 on this one, as I cannot separate the two sides. Let's go to Gillingham, struggling at the moment. I've got Salford, that's right, coming at you at Priestfields. Gillingham under Gareth Ainsworth, sitting 5th right now, winless in the last 5 up against Salford under Carl Robinson. 1-3, lost 3 over the last 6. They sit 7th with 22 points. Now, they have played 6 times since 2022. 4 wins for Gillingham, 1 win for Salford. There's been 1 draw. They last played at this venue as a 2-2 thriller back in April 2025. Gillingham are unbeaten against Salford over the last 5, picking up 4 wins and that 1 draw. Of course, goal difference separate the two sides coming into this one. Both sides are in the playoffs. Grimsby beating Gillingham most recently, and Salford picking up that win against Salford. Again, very, very tight. Could go down the middle here. Gillingham just edge it with the bookies. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for the hosts on this one, who are well overdue a victory in League Two. Harrogate Town up against Newport County. That's right, Harrogate and Simon Weaver down to 19th right now. 14 points for them. 3 defeats on the spin up against Newport County. And David Hughes only winning twice in the last 6. They're down 24th right now with 8 points. They played 10 times in 2020. 4 wins Harrogate, 5 wins Newport, 1 draw. They last played at this venue. 1-0 winners it was for Harrogate back in October 2024. Looking into this one, Harrogate losing last time around against Colchester. Newport losing to Cheltenham. The last away match, though, was a solid 1-0 win. In fact, they've got back-to-back away wins in all competitions, have Newport County heading into this one. They are underdogs, though, for this one. Harrogate favoured for the victory. Going to go with a 2-1 win for the hosts for me. On this, Notts County are up. They're taking on Cambridge right now. Martin Patterson's Notts County are 8th, going under the radar somewhat, just to 21 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 up against Cambridge and Neil Harris. They are 9th, also on 21 points. 2 defeats, though, in the last 3 matches. They've taken on Notts County 11 times since 2004. Cambridge winning 8 of them. There's been 1 draw, and there's been 1 win for Notts County, and there's been 2 draws, actually. for the two clubs coming into this. Heading into this one, though, at last time around at Notts County, it was 1-0 win for Cambridge back in January 2019. Cambridge are actually unbeaten over Notts County over the last 6, picking up 5 wins and just the 1 draw. Coming into this, Notts County drawing with Swindon Town, and most recently that was actually midweek. Cambridge losing to Barnet in the Football League Trophy. Also midweek. The bookies for this one, very, very tight. They do lean in favour of Notts County, but it could go. It's one of them tight ones. I've gone with the hosts as well. 2-0 winners, Notts County, breaking that tradition, recent tradition of Cambridge victories. Let's go to the northwest as Oldham take on Shrewsbury at Boundary Park. Mickey Mellon's boys are 17th right now, but they're winless in the last 5. Shrewsbury under Michael Upton, they're unbeaten in the last 3, including back-to-back wins, sitting in 21st with 12 points. Just 3 points separate these two clubs coming into this. They have played 16 times in 2006, 5 wins Oldham, 10 wins Shrewsbury, and 1 draw between the two sides. Competitively, last time they played at this venue, it was a 2-1 win for Shrewsbury back in September 2017. That was in League One, might I add. Oldham are on the back of that 1-0 loss to Salford. That make back-to-back games without a goal for the Owls. As for Shrewsbury, back-to-back home wins, back-to-back clean sheets. In fact, 3 clean sheets on the spin for Shrewsbury Town. They may have turned a corner under Michael Appleton. The bookies odds, they'll go with Oldham. I think I've gone with Oldham as well, but looking at that form, you might have to revisit that in the end. Final couple here, Swindon Town against Colchester. Swindon and Ian Holloway, they sit second. 25 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 4. Up against Colchester, Danny Cowley. They're on a good bit of form right now. 14th at the table, 17 points for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 matches. They have played each other 39 times since 2003. We've got 13 wins Swindon, 18 wins Colchester, 8 draws between the two sides. Last time they played at this venue, it was a 3-2 win for Swindon back in New Year's Day. Swindon are on the back of a 2-2 scoreline to Notts County most recently. That was midweek, of course. Colchester beating Harrogate 3-1 last time around as they suddenly found the goals. Well, they scored. They've got 13 goals in the last 4 in all competitions, have Colchester. The bookies will go with Swindon. They're flying high. 2-0 winners. Colchester, though, on a good bit of form as well. And finally, we go to Prenton Park as Tranmere take on Chesterfield. Of course, Tranmere under Andrew Crosby, they're 18th right now, just 1 defeat in the last 5 for them. Up against the Chesterfield side, and the Paul Cook, they sit 6th with 1 defeat in the last 6 as well. Played 18 times these two clubs since 2003. 12 wins Tranmere, 4 wins Chesterfield, 2 draws between the two sides. Last time at Tranmere, it was a 4-0 win for the hosts. That was back in April 2025. Tranmere on the back of that 4-1 win over Bristol Rovers. Chesterfield could only draw with Fleetwood. The draw here, the bookies' odds here are very, very tight. They do lean towards Chesterfield. I think I am as well. Gone with the 1-1 scoreline, of course, to separate the two sides this week. And that is my League Two predictions for this match day, of course. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like at the end of it. Swindon Town flying high. MK Dons doing the ting as well at the top of the table. With Walsall in 3rd. That's, of course, new leader right there. Crawley, Newport County going down the playoffs. Who knows, of course. Still anybody's guess. But that is my take on it, guys. Make sure you get your own take. Subscribe. Smash the like, of course, wherever you are in the world. Of course, we'll come back very, very soon for the next round of games. Of course, don't forget that like target. 40 likes. Do us a favour. The channel needs your help. But until then, I'm done.